The final step in this process is to now add all your text information. And I've left that to the end because text information can be a bit complicated in AutoCAD. We don't just select the font size and place it onto the drawing because of the way we've created this title block information. So, and this is something that we're going to spend more time on a bit later on in the next lessons for the next assignment. But basically, when you plot a drawing or print a drawing, you have two different options. You can print a window like we're going to be doing in this assignment, or you can print a page. Now, this is an actual tabbed page, and you can see at the bottom it says D size layout, so it's the 17 by 22. And when we add text here, the actual size of the text is what we identify as the size that we want to plot. So if I plot this out or print this out and I took a scaled rule, I would measure that height. And it would come out to be true. So in this particular case, we just select the text tool and we give it the height of what we want it to be. So down in here, I'm going to just click anywhere on this page. And then it says right now the height is 1/8 of an inch. If I accept that, press enter, and then type in something in here. I'm going to type in the word kitchen and click off of it. That height I can physically measure to be that size. Okay, so that's working in paper space, but we're working in model space. So what does that mean? Okay, again, this is strictly for demonstration, so you get an idea of what I'm talking about here. I'm going to copy with base point this piece of information here. And remember, this is in paper space. I'm going to go now into model space where our drawing is. And there it is right here. But remember, we had to adjust the size of this to match the scale of the drawing because the drawing is drawn full size. So when we draw something full size, the title block has to match that size. So when we go to plot, we plot a window and then we say reduce that whole drawing by a scale of 1 to 50. So if I add this text right now, so I'm going to paste, there we go, and add this text right now. It's tiny. It's tiny, tiny. Why? Because again, this model, first of all, had to be converted from imperial to metric. Where we did that, we selected scale, we selected the whole title block. In this case, I'm just using the words, and then we multiply by 25.4. And then it had to be scaled up to the actual drawing scale, which is 1 to 50. So I'm going to do it again, this time type in 50. And you can see that this text and this text is exactly the same size. That's how we got to this size. But that can be very complicated. So what AutoCAD has done instead is it's considered the user's input in identifying what the final product will look like. So for instance, if I know that I want a 5mm text in the final print, what I can do is identify that number, but with a ratio already built in. So what we have to do in order to use that information is to create a new style. So in this text menu or annotation menu, you'll notice there's an icon that has the letter A and it looks like a paintbrush. That means you can create a new style. So we're going to create a new style, new, and call it Annotative. All right, select OK. And in here, I'm going to check off this box. And what that means is it automatically selects or will create an annotative text that's relative to the scale of the final output. In our case, it's 1 to 50. Now, I don't want to put a height here yet, because if I put in a height, then I can't change the height when I actually apply the text. By putting in 0, it prompts me with a height because it doesn't know what height you want it to. All right, so I want this style to be set current. And it says, yeah, I want to keep those changes in place, and then I can close this. All right, let's see if it's actually there. Yep. So this indicates that that is the current style. Okay, so now I'm going to go into text. I'm going to select single line, and I'm going to click on a location where I want that text to appear. Now, it's asking me to specify the paper height, which means how I want it to finally print. And I want it to print 5 millimeters high. Okay. Now it's asking for rotation because you can rotate text. It's 0 rotation. Press enter and type in living room. And then click off the work. And this information is 5 millimeters high. How do I know that? Well, with annotative text, it looks at the drawing scale that we have picked down here. Okay, that's interesting. So if I picked a different scale, let's say I was at 1 to 100, and I click on here and go single line and click somewhere on the page, and once again it's asking me for the paper height, what it's going to plot at. I'm going to pick 5 once again, no rotation to it, and I type in the word living room, and then click off of it. See, it's made it twice as big. Now why? Because at 1 to 100, when you go to plot this, it'll scale it down by a factor of 100. At 1 to 50, when I plot this, it scales it down at a scale of 1 to 50. And therefore, it's automatically changing or adjusting the height of this based on the plot scale. So what does that mean? And you can see as soon as I move my mouse over top of that, you get that triangular symbol. And that simply means annotative. I'm going to click on these items here. So what that means is this. When you go to create text, you must first create a text style. I call this annotative just for demonstration purposes. You can call it whatever you want. You have to make sure it's current here, where all the different styles are available to you. So make sure the annotative one is current. And then you must go down here at the bottom right hand corner and make sure the scale factor, the final plot scale, in our case is 1 to 50, is correct. And now any value that we identify here for the height of the text is the value that it's going to automatically create the text for you. Once all that's done, then once again, save the file first and then select File, Plot. Remember, in this particular case, we have to first select what are we plotting to. I recommend you plot to a PDF file first, and then from the PDF file, you can plot to a printer. It seems to be a bit more efficient, plus you have a copy that you can refer to at a later time. So I'm just going to pick the general documentation in here. Okay. What about the size of it? It's supposed to be 17 by 22. ANSI expand. There we go. Make sure under Display, you select Window. Now, you want to go from this corner and make sure you have that green box, which simply identifies Endpoint, to Endpoint. Good. And you don't want to use the Fit tab. You want to convert this to millimeters and then change this to 50. You're going to see that the red lines appear on here. Now I haven't done that right now just because I need to select another option, which is center the plot. So 1 to 50, center the plot, Adobe PDF, expanded, great. Now the plot style table, if you're creating this in color, select none. If you're doing it in anything else, you can do it in monochrome or grayscale. I'm going to pick grayscale only because last time I picked none. Don't assign this only because then it automatically picks that, so select no. And remember to always select a preview. That is the final page that we're going to see. And I'm going to close this up and then simply select OK, place it in a location you want it to go to, and then you can print from there. All right. I hope you enjoyed this series and that it's helped you with your first assignment. We will continue on with this series using some new techniques for assignment number 2.